It is.
Hello? Are you there?
Not yet. Yeah, almost.
Is it happening?
This one's a little bit slower.
Should we go on the phone?
If we exit and go back in. Here we go.
Are we live?
We are.
Okay. We're doing, as you can see, our setup is a little bit different. We decided to use Dolce's computer instead of, we usually use a phone on a stand, which means we have to kind of stack up in a line a little bit. And here we're using this screen, but it's kind of different. And there's a delay, so if we look a little weird, a little jerky or anything, it's because the screen looks different.
Or too much caffeine.
One or the other. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the idea of ministry. I'm going to use air quotes, ministry. Yesterday I mentioned that, what are you doing? What are you pointing to, my love?
I'm not sure are we recording? Can you see us?
Okay, so thank you, Tracy. She just let us know that she can see us. That's good. Can you hear us? That's the next question. Someone let me know if you can hear us. Okay, I'm going to just keep going. So yesterday we were talking about this time, the suspended animation time, and how God can work through that that it can be a fertile ground, that this time of waiting, the fruit can be produced even through this frustration. So I had mentioned that for us, we've been in the process of discerning what we are to be doing through this, through Where True Love Is. Dolce also has built up a community called Church Beyond Walls. That's what it's called, right? Mm-hmm. Which has sort of similar content, slightly different variety. And we've been praying, what do you want us to do, God, next? How do we extend and expand? What can we be doing to bring more love and light to the world? And we'd intended to do kind of a retreat at the beginning of this year, and everything fell apart due to some family health issues and then the pandemic. So as a part of that, though, and so yesterday I explained that and mentioned that it seemed as if being put on hold has produced some fruit. And part of that fruit was this exploration of the idea of ministry. I kept thinking, what is our ministry going to be? What are we going to develop? And the term ministry was what I focused on. And what I realized over the past couple of weeks is that the idea, the word, and the concept of ministry is pretty flawed. That it is very hierarchical. It's that there's people who are the ministers, and there are the people who are the non-ministers. There are the people who have something to give, whether it's information or spirituality or food or something, right? That typically there's in mission and in ministry, there's the giver and the receiver. And I started realizing that that's kind of screwed up. It creates a superior inferior dynamic. There's the people who are needy and the people who are the gifted or the giving. And that just seems broken and wrong in some way to me. And so I've started to not like the term ministry anymore, and I don't want us to be developing ministries. I think it's supposed to be much more circular and familial. And as I was thinking about that this afternoon in preparing for us to go live, I thought about John 13's description of Jesus washing the disciples' feet, the apostles, I guess it was just the apostles' feet, and his instruction, now do it for each other. And that wasn't a hierarchical thing. It was a familial circle thing. It was that you're caring for each other. And in Acts, people were combining what they had in order to care for each other. And yes, the widows needed and the orphans needed to be fed and taken care of, and that meant that some people were, part of their tasks were, the deacons' tasks were to do that caregiving and providing. But you see much less of a hierarchical um, structure and concept, and much more of a, I think, sort of an integrated love each other, be one, um, without separation, without being the ministers and the ministered to. Um, do you want to jump in on this?
Well, some of you know I'm an ordained Stevens minister, and one of the things we learn in Stevens ministry is to be with the person. Just be with. It's not stand over. It's not direct. It's be with. So I hear what you're saying, and I felt that way for a long time. That pastors and ministers, people in ministry positions, do seem to have this hierarchical position that I think hurts the whole community. It hurts the whole church. I think that no one should be put on a pedestal. Pedestals are made for you to fall off of. So as a Stevens minister, we were trained that you go into someone's house and you are with them. And whatever that meant, whatever they needed, whatever you needed, it was kind of a, every time I give, I'm blessed. So it's not that I'm doing for you. It's almost like I feel like you're doing for me by allowing me to be with you. So the whole ministry idea of having someone above you, I think, has to change. And it has to be more about being you in the world for the people who need you and you need. It's this intermixing together.
So how is that important to you guys? I think one of the ways it is exactly what you were just saying, is that it's not, you don't have to picture yourself as being not a minister or not in ministry, that you can be serving God in your life in all different ways, being love to one another, and be just as much a minister as the person who shows up on a Sunday and speaks from a pulpit. You may be doing different tasks. But I want to encourage the world, and the people who find Christ to be the compelling answer to the world's problems, to just know that you can do it and that you don't need a degree. If you want a degree, that's lovely, and you can learn lots of things that can be helpful to you in a number of ways. But don't think that if you don't have a degree and are not ordained and aren't in charge of a church, that you aren't just as much a member of the royal priesthood, because you are, and can do significant and profound work.
But I think the point that you're really making, and I hope everybody is hearing, is that ministry is about being the hands and feet of Christ wherever you are. And loving and being loved. Like tonight, if Tracy cooks dinner for Graham, she ministered to him. My beloved did my hair. She ministered to me. The tiny little things matter a lot in the world. And like you said, you don't have to have a degree to love. You have that love inside you that's put there by God. So it's just the action of acting and giving that out and receiving. Receiving is part of love too. You have to receive to be able to give back. You have to fill back your tank. You have to give. So I think I love what you said about it being in every little thing, and that you don't have to have a degree. You just have to be love to the world, and the little things matter a lot.
So I don't know what this is going to end up meaning for us and for what God has in mind. We've got some crazy ideas about something that we're probably going to be starting, and trying to figure out how to be God to people in our community, our local community, and as well as our extended, the world, in a different way, and in a way that falls outside of that traditional concept of ministry, of hierarchical, of us versus them, and is more designed after a oneness and family community. So pray for us, if you would, as we continue trying to figure that out. And we'll pray for you too. Anything else?
Well, I would just leave you this one thought. I read a book entitled Splash years ago, like 25 years ago, where this woman talked about everything she did. She was splashing people as if she was a wet dog in the world, and the splashing water was God's love. So she talked about just going in and being kind to the checkout girl in the grocery store. So I mean, it affects and flows over every aspect of your life. So we're just hoping that we can bring that into whatever God calls us to next. And we hope that you can too. We want you to go splash the world.
Splash. All right, I think that's it for today. And we will see you again tomorrow. Happy Pride Month. Take care.